TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Dory Jr., Terry, they called me. Harley Race called me. And they said, get to Atlanta and get on that TV. Bob Geigel called me. He said, get to Atlanta and get the TV exposure. You are in line. We are pushing for you to be the next NWA champion. And so I went to Atlanta, and I was in Atlanta. And it was in Atlanta that I met Melanie, my wife, today. And Buck Robley eventually came in there and took the book and to try and, get some new life into me and into the territory. We did the angle with the Freebirds where I was dropped on my head and went and I spent a week. Well, I tell you what's one of the greatest acting jobs I ever did. I spent a week in an Atlanta hospital, and there wasn't a thing wrong with me.
That's great.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I was hitting that Demerol button every day.
Was that the highlight of your career in Georgia? Would you say? What was the highlight in Georgia?
In Georgia, oh gosh, I'll tell you what the highlight in Georgia was a match I had with Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes became the NWA champion, and for whatever reason, I lost favor with Jim Barnett. And see, I've never been anybody to beat around the bush or, I've never kissed anybody's backside. I've never, beat on the door. My work has always spoken for itself. I just never played the politics, and maybe I should have. But, I said things the way they were. And when people would ask me, how's Atlanta doing? I'd say, it's not doing good. Well, what's the problem? I said, well, we need a better booker. Nothing against Robert Fuller. I liked him as a guy. I didn't think he was a great booker. And of course that got back to the office and, well, shame on you. And, I don't know, maybe it cost me the belt too. I have no idea. I did learn to eventually keep my mouth shut. just not say what I believed. When Robley came in, because Robley had booked for Bill Watts, done a tremendous job. He came in and he came up with this angle. He says it'll be exciting and it'll get you a lot of sympathy. And it was pretty funny because we did this thing on TV, and I lay there and get stretchered out, and I go to this hospital, and Gordon Soley announces on cable television what hospital I'm at. So they said, the switchboard at this hospital started lighting up, calls coming in from all over the country when it aired that evening, and so they came to me, they said, Mr. Dibiase, we need a phone list. We need a list of numbers of the people that you will accept calls from because just everybody is calling. Right. So I made a list of the people that I thought would call me. Right. Well, I didn't put Jim Barnett's name on the list. And so the next thing you know, one of the guys is calling me and saying, Ted, Jim's awfully upset. He's been trying to call you, and his name is not on your list. So I rectified that. Right. So it's like, my boy, I've been trying to reach you. Why is my name not on your list? I'm paying for that hospital. Sorry, Jim, I didn't think you'd call me. But I stayed in the hospital for a week there and then went back, and then for a month went through a series of interviews and then be training in the gym to make the big comeback and have the big match with Freebirds.
They don't do that anymore.
No, they really don't. Well, it's because everybody knows it's a show.
Right.
But the highlight of the whole deal, that angle was a highlight, but the other one would be the match I had with Dusty, because Dusty was the new champion, and there were a lot of people that didn't think that I would do the job for Dusty, kind of like out of because everybody in the inner circles knew, or they probably thought anyway, well, Dusty got the belt, I didn't, and I refused to do the job for him. And I said, I'm a businessman, and this is all about doing business. And I said, I ain't got a problem with that. So Dusty and I, though, they all thought because of Dusty's style, that Dusty go out and have a 15-minute match and do his razzmatazz and match be over. We went almost an hour. Dusty and I, and it was a great match, and that was probably the highlight of the Georgia career.